は生物として俺には勝てねえ。
One Piece is the anime where pirates scream a lot, pull off physics-defying attacks, and somehow, still manage to find time to talk about dreams, friendship, and endless buffets of meat. I mean, it's a show about pirates, but not just any pirates. These are pirates that don't just plunder ships, they plunder hearts with their absolutely jaw-dropping, tear-jerking, and often mind-blowing battles. But let's be real for a sec. One Piece isn't just about fights. It's about the story arcs leading up to those battles that make the eventual punches, slashes, and explosions feel like the 4th of July in your chest. So, get your straw hats ready because we're diving into the top 10 epic battles from One Piece that you absolutely positively cannot miss. Let's set sail, or as Luffy would say, I'm gonna be king of the pirates. And no, we're not getting into a clip show episode here, this is the real deal, so buckle up. At number 10, we kick things off with Luffy vs. Crocodile. Arc Alabasta. Ah yes, the fight that first made you sit up in your chair and go, hold on, did Luffy actually just lose? Crocodile, one of these 7 warlords of the sea, isn't just any bad guy. He's got his eyes set on controlling Alabasta through some masterful manipulation of a civil war. Crocodile's devil fruit power, the sand fruit, lets him literally become sand, which makes him nearly untouchable in a desert environment. Luffy, he's not having any of that. The stakes are crazy high because if Luffy fails, Princess Vivi and all of Alabasta are going down with the ship. Your sandstorm. Luffy realizes that water is the key to fighting Crocodile and starts using it to land those rubbery punches. The man is literally punching sand. Top tier entertainment right there. Watching Luffy's stubbornness pay off as he punches Crocodile into submission after losing twice is incredibly satisfying, not to mention nerve-wracking. Slicing into number 9 is Zoro vs. Daz Bones.
もう受けねえ。覚悟ありか。上等。一刀流居合。
Because what's more terrifying than a guy who can turn his entire body into blades? Oh right, a green-haired swordsman who decides to fight him with bare hands when his swords break. Mr. One is like fighting a walking Swiss Army knife, and Zoro has to figure out how to cut through steel to even stand a chance. This fight is personal for Zoro, not just because he's protecting his crew, but because it's about his growth as a swordsman. He needs to unlock a new level of skill, or he's toast. Or, well, shredded. When Zoro finally unlocks the ability to cut through steel by, and I quote, feeling the breath of everything, it's like watching a samurai become one with the universe. We're talking Zen Master level stuff here. Zoro's triumph in this fight is defining a moment in his journey, solidifying him as one of the toughest swordsmen in the world. At number 8, it's Luffy vs. Katakuri.
パワーでも速さでも俺の方が上だ。追いつけ！
Arc Whole Cake Island. Luffy versus a guy who has the same powers as him but somehow more terrifying. Katakuri is Big Mom's right-hand man, and let's be real, he's a total beast. He's got the ability to see into the future with his advanced observation haki, and his mochi mochi fruit powers mean he can trap and pummel Luffy with sticky attacks. Luffy's challenge isn't just to defeat a stronger version of himself, but to grow as a fighter who can take on future threats. Katakuri, meanwhile, has never lost a fight, and he doesn't intend to start with some rubber pirate. When Luffy matches Katakuri's future sight haki by becoming more unpredictable, it's like watching someone break all the rules of combat and win because of it. Never thought the key to defeating the future was chaos, but here we are. Luffy's sheer willpower and unpredictability turn the tide of the battle in one of the series' most intense showdowns. Dancing his way into number 7 is Sanji vs. Queen.
女を殴っちゃならねえ。この人間のクズがこりえ。
Arc Wano. You've got Sanji, the suave chef with a fiery personality, taking on Queen, who's basically a huge mechanical dinosaur with cyborg enhancements. And yes, he dances sometimes too, but this fight is about more than brute strength. Sanji's past as a member of the Vinsmoke family, the genetically enhanced Germa 66, haunts him throughout this battle. Queen keeps taunting Sanji, pushing him to embrace the cold, emotionless monster that his family tried to make him. Sanji, however, refuses to give in to that darkness, fighting not just for his friends, but for his own sense of self. When Sanji decides to embrace who he is and uses his enhanced abilities to obliterate Queen, it's not just a victory, it's Sanji reclaiming his identity on his own terms. The broken cigarette as Sanji delivers his final blow? Iconic. It's that moment where you know Sanji is one of the most complex and beloved characters in the series. Crashing into number 6 is Luffy versus Rob Lucci.
最大輪六王眼
If Luffy vs. Lucci were a video game, this would be the final boss fight. Rob Lucci is essentially a government assassin with a cheetah form, because why not, and he's standing in the way of Luffy saving Nico Robin. It's not just about winning this battle, it's about doing it for Robin, who finally screamed, "I want to live." The stakes are sky high, with the government, the Marines, and everyone else coming down on Luffy and his crew. Luffy's pushing himself beyond his limits, activating Gear 2nd and Gear 3rd for the first time. You can almost feel the pressure building with each punch. Luffy's epic jet Gatling finisher, where he unleashes a barrage of punches that pummels Lucci into oblivion, is the stuff of legends. If you didn't feel like fist pumping the air at that point, you might want to check your pulse. Luffy wasn't just fighting for victory, he was fighting for Robin's freedom, and he was not going to lose. Cutting into number 5, we've got Zoro vs. King. Here we have Zoro, our favorite three-sword wielding swordsman, against King, one of Kaido's strongest subordinates. King is this mysterious Lunarian who's basically impossible to hit or hurt, until Zoro decides he's had enough of playing around. Zoro has been through countless battles, but this fight? This is Zoro's big moment to shine in Wano, and the stakes are personal. Zoro's fighting to protect Luffy's dream and his own promise to become the greatest swordswoman in the world. When Zoro unleashes his new Conqueror's Haki to land the final blow on King, it's not just another fight, it's Zoro stepping into his true power, claiming his place as one of the strongest swordsmen in the world. The man is straight up glowing with power. Zoro fans everywhere collectively lost it. At number 4, it's Luffy vs. Doflamingo. Don Quixote Doflamingo. The guy has one of the most complex backstories in One Piece and also one of the most punchable faces. Seriously, that grin is asking for it. Luffy, with the help of the Gladiator Army and his new Gear 4th form, goes head to head with Doflamingo, who's been pulling the strings, literally, in Dressrosa. It's one of those fights where you can feel the desperation, as Luffy's on a timer to finish Doffy off before his Gear 4th wears him out. Doflamingo has been using his string powers to manipulate everyone like puppets, and it's about time someone cut those strings. Gear 4th, Bounce Man. It's like Luffy turned into a living cannonball, and Doflamingo had no idea what hit him. Spoiler, it was a lot of punches. Watching Doflamingo get smashed into the ground by Luffy's overwhelming power is deeply, deeply satisfying. Thundering into number 3 is Luffy vs. Kaido. Arc Wano. What's scarier than fighting a pirate emperor who can transform into a dragon? Fighting him over and over and over again because he refuses to go down. Kaido's got the strength of a literal dragon and an army at his back. Luffy's fight against Kaido is like watching a real-life boss battle that just won't end. This is where Luffy unlocks Gear 5th, also known as his Nika form, and transforms into what looks like a cartoon character. Think old-school Looney Tunes vibes, while delivering godlike punches. It's bizarre, it's brilliant, it's peak One Piece insanity. When Luffy's Nika form turns the entire battlefield into his personal playground, bending the environment and reality itself, you know you're watching something legendary. Is this One Piece or Tom and Jerry? Either way, it's glorious. Standing tall at number 2 is Whitebeard versus the Marines. When you're facing a pirate called Whitebeard who has the power to crack the very air itself, you know you're in trouble. This is not just a battle, it's a war. Whitebeard, the strongest man in the world, shows up at Marineford to rescue his son, Ace, from execution. And what follows is one of the most intense battles in the series. Whitebeard, even in his old age and with all his injuries, takes on the entire Navy and still manages to show why he's one of the Yonko. Whitebeard literally dying while standing up? The guy took hundreds of hits and he still refused to fall. That's the kind of legendary stuff that made this battle one of the most iconic in anime history. Absolute legend. And at number 1, the fight that launched 1,000 feels, Luffy versus Arlong. Arc Arlong Park. The fight that started it all. Luffy's battle against Arlong isn't the flashiest and it's certainly not the longest, but it's arguably the most important. Arlong, the fishman pirate, has been tormenting Nami for years, using her as a tool to fund his twisted dreams. Luffy's rage when he finds out what Arlong has done? Oh boy, this fight is pure emotional catharsis. Arlong thinks he's unstoppable, but Luffy, he's got a knack for smashing through those kinds of egos. Luffy doesn't just punch Arlong, he tears down the entire Arlong Park building, symbolizing Nami's liberation. Luffy smashing Arlong through the floor, saying, "Nami, you're my friend," is the moment that made One Piece fans everywhere fall in love with this series. Try watching that without tearing up, I dare you. And there you have it, 10 of the most epic battles in One Piece that you absolutely cannot miss. Each one of these fights showcases not only the raw strength and power of the characters, but also the emotional depth and storytelling that makes this anime a worldwide sensation. Plus, let's be honest, watching Luffy defy the laws of physics and common sense never gets old.